Hey everybody, hope you're doing well today. Today I want to make a quick little video kind of talking about the new Ram 1500 with the standard output, high output for fuel economy comparison. Also in this video, I want to compare the Ram 1500, I'll call it like mid-level bighorn versus an F-150 XLT of a 2024 versus a GMC Sierra 1500 elevation. Trying to compare, I'm going to call it almost a mid-level, maybe just shy of a mid-level, more towards the lower end of a mid-level truck. Cloth interior, bucket seats, heated seats, mid-level powertrain. Let's compare fuel economy, pricing, and options. Let's get to this. Let's look at the fuel economy numbers of the Ram 1500 high output for 2025 versus the standard output versus the outgoing V8. If you notice, the high output engine, which makes 520 horsepower, this motor is going to be a ripper. 17 miles per gallon combined, 15 city, 21 highway, which is a if you now compare this to the standard output engine, which makes 100 less horsepower, you lose almost 2 miles per gallon in the city, 3 miles per gallon on the highway. Now if we compare that to the outgoing Hemi, you actually lose 1 mile per gallon in the city, but you pick up 2 miles per gallon on the highway. I find this interesting because traditionally, from my experience, I've had over a dozen EcoBoost engines on the highway, 70 to 80 miles per hour. I've found the natural aspirated V8s actually provide a little bit better fuel economy than a boosted engine. Ram is showing opposite here, which is interesting, and they're also showing opposite for the city, which is typically where an EcoBoost engine or a boosted engine does better from my experience in the city. But the good news is you're picking up more horsepower than the Hemi, you've got more torque than the Hemi, and actually you've picked up 2 miles per gallon on the highway at 1 mile per gallon less in the city. Now if we compare this to the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, which has similar horsepower and similar torque to the Ram 1500 for 2025, you can see fuel economy is very similar. You've got the same highway fuel economy, you've got one less MPG on the highway, but your mixed fuel economy is the same. Now let's compare standard output Ram versus a 2.7 liter EcoBoost versus the 5.3 liter GM. You might say, why are you comparing these three engines? How does this make sense? I'll tell you why I went with this. I want to compare in this video mid-level engines across the board. The 2.7 liter now for 2024 is the starting motor for the F-150. They replaced the 3.3 or 3.5 liter. It was the natural aspirated 6-cylinder. But this is a decent engine, and it's a good comparison to the 3.0. And then if we also compare that to the GMC, they don't actually really have an engine to compare in this area, because if you go to the 2.7 liter 4-cylinder engine, it's not really a good comparison. It doesn't have a 10-speed. It doesn't have the 10-speed trans. It doesn't provide the same fuel economy and performance as these other two engines. So I kind of wanted something that was a bump up. This gets you 360 horse, 330, and this is 420. This is where Ram is going to have a really big benefit over these two for performance. But you can kind of see the fuel economy numbers. GM's in third place here, but if I had to guess, I bet this GM actually does probably a little bit better than advertised, and I bet you these two probably perform a little bit under. All right, now let's build all three of these trucks and see how they compare for pricing and options. For this video, I specifically went with the Bighorn because I'm trying to do a cloth interior, but I want to also get you some options. 12-inch display. I want to get 360 cameras. I want to get the nicer rims. I want to try to not get into these $75,000 to $80,000 trucks. I wanted to try to get something across the board as very mid-level truck. So for this one, I'm just going to try to compare even the same colors. This is a silver. We're going to now go down and add on this one. We're going to go bucket seats. It's going to force us into a level 2 package, which gets us the nice display, center console, the upgraded instrumentation here. Now let's go down here and we're going to add trailer brake controller, surround camera. Definitely want both of those. That gets us the 360 cameras. You can see the tow technology is selected here. This is where I think Ram has a huge advantage over Ford and GM for 2024 calendar year. You can get heads-up display at a lower trim level truck for $1,100. If this option means a lot to you, this is awesome. If you want this option in a Ford, it's going to force you to get a Lariat. If you want this option in a GMC, I believe it forces you into an SLT package. Both of those are very expensive, and if you don't really care about leather interior or some of the other bougie features, this is great that they're offering this. And what's interesting is, from my experience with Ram, this is where I feel like Ram offers some great value versus some of the competitors. You can kind of do these a la carte options. They don't force you to a higher trim package like Ford or GM do. We're going to add the 3-liter Hurricane. You can see the price went up a little bit there. See if we can add this feature again. There we go. All right. So we got the Night Edition added, which gets you the black grille. I specifically wanted to add this because I'm going to do the same thing in the Ford here in a second. Get you the nice 20-inch wheels, get you the anti-spin rear axle, get you a little bit nicer material on the seats. We're not going to add this trailer tow group. We're not going to add the off-road group, but we do have the 3-liter Hurricane engine. See the anti-spin axle, 355 gears. I'm not even going to add the 33-gallon fuel tank. This is another option I think it's cool. You can now get they call it low power on board. I went into the description here to try to find out what does this mean specifically, how many watt generator inverter it has. It doesn't say. So here's what I want to show you. $64,270 for a night package Bighorn with a 3-liter turbo engine. Cloth interior, bucket seats, heated seats. Let's go try to do the exact same thing with Ford. I've already selected, this is an XLT, which would be very similar to a Ram Bighorn. I've even selected the same silver kind of color, 2.7 liter EcoBoost. I'm not going with the 3.5 liter. I could, it's a $1,600 option. But for this video, we want to compare kind of like the mid-level boosted engine. Let's go 4-wheel drive, of course. And we're going to add, I think we have to go mid-level 302A. Now let's go black appearance package. This is going to get us the black front end. This gets us the black accenting, just like the Ram. Got the black wheels there. Not going to select any of these other options. It's already got 360 cameras, LED headlights. We've already got the center console shifter with the 12-inch display. It's already got the Pro Steer, heated front seats, integrated brake controller, $275, adaptive cruise, $60,120. That's $4,000 less than the Ram for similar options. And actually, if we go to the Ram, I want to see if this actually has adaptive cruise control. Heated front seats, heated steering wheel. The other one has that also. So I'm not seeing that the Ram actually has adaptive cruise control in these options. It's not coming up. It's possible it's included. Ford is $4,000 less, and it has adaptive cruise and lane centering technology. Now, let's go do the exact same thing with the elevation package. So if you notice here, I'm picking the elevation because I don't want to go to an SLT because this is more like a Laramie and Lariat. I don't want an SLE because this is more base model. You don't have fog lights. You can kind of see it's not as comparable. But if you look, this is what I like about GM. You've got like 5 different engine options. We don't want the diesel for this video. We don't want the small 2.7 liter Turbo Max because it's less power, less fuel economy, and less capable than the other. Apples to apples, we're going to 5.3. It's right in the middle. This gets you the bucket seats. Now let's go to exterior. They're the same price, $495 option. You got the black grille. All right, let's go wheels. You got the black wheels, perfect. Comparable there. We've got the center console shifter with 12-inch display. The nice interior. I love the new GM interior too. It looks awesome. Let's go to packages. Instead of adding the Max trailer tow packaging, let's see if we can just get the integrated brake controller without having to get a package. Also, let's see what happens here. Will this make us force us into a package? It does. Preferred package. You know what? We're going to go with this because it actually includes the brake controller. So select. So this gets you adaptive cruise like the Ford. Preferred package. You can kind of see this. Now we got 360 camera. We've got our spray and bed liner. So this is a big benefit of getting this versus the Ram or the Ford. Bed liners included. Wheelhouse liners are included. We got the safety plus package included. Exterior, we got perimeter lighting. I like that. And it's actually got the steps are included. Now we're in the summary and we look. We've got all 3 trucks kind of compared up. And you notice all 3 different prices. The GMC Sierra Elevation with the premium interior with the 12-inch display, adaptive cruise, $62,860. We go to the Ford, $60,120. LED headlights, LED fog lights, tow hooks, adaptive cruise, 360 camera, integrated brake controller, exact same feature. This price would actually go up because we didn't actually include in this the spray and bed liner. So if we wanted to try to do as much of apples to apples in this, $60,715 versus $62,860. So it's about $2,000 more. But then we jump to the Ram. Man, it's way more money. $64,270 versus these three other trucks. So when people are saying, man, the new F-150 is expensive, I don't disagree. But compare it versus the competition, it's a better value. I really do believe this. I do like this inline 6-cylinder Hurricane motor. I think this engine is going to be awesome. I would probably want to wait a year or two. If I was going to buy one, I'd want them to work the bugs out. Now, if you're leasing, who cares? Doesn't really matter. You're not going to own the truck. Here's another big benefit I like about Ram that you can't get in any trim package with a Ford or with a GM. This 4-corner air suspension is awesome. If you tow, this is great. If you heavy haul, this is great. And I used to be worried about this option as far as like long-term durability, but I actually have a friend that's got a 2019 Ram Rebel 1500. He's got 190,000 miles on it. He's never had an issue with this 4-corner air suspension. And the benefits you get for ride comfort, for payload ease, for hooking up trailers, it's a phenomenal option. So I hope you find this video helpful. If you kind of look at the pricing, all three of these different trucks are at different prices. I didn't include rebates or any incentives or anything going. I don't see a lot of incentives being offered. I hate to say it for many of these trucks for 2024. There's probably going to be a few, especially if you're like a returning leasee or something like that. But you can kind of see the fuel economy, where they're all at, comparing each other. You can kind of see where all three trucks line up for pricing. The Ram is the most expensive, and you're going to find this if you go across the board. The Ram is the most expensive truck in almost every one of these platforms. I hope you find this video helpful. Thanks for watching.